Hello everyone, we are live on YouTube and LinkedIn bringing you yet another exciting episode of the Top Innovator Series. This is where we dive into proven leadership ideas, game-changing strategies and of course the brilliant minds behind them. It's an absolute pleasure to introduce today's guest who we have with us today. It is Kevin Surace. Kevin is the CTO of AppVans, a leader in generative AI for software quality. He's also a futurist, keynote speaker, and in the process of writing a book with the title The Joy Success Cycle. And Kevin is really best known as the father of the AI virtual assistant. Kevin, it's an absolute pleasure to have you with us today.
So happy to be here.
So you've got a ton of experience in leadership and are super accomplished in your career. So everyone would love to know, reflecting on your career, reflecting on what you've accomplished, what do you think is the ingredient or the key ingredient for your success? What is something that you would attribute to the success that you have?
Well, I would say joy.
Okay. Okay.
When the book comes out, please buy it. Look, I think I do. The truth is I do look at every single task. I make task lists every day. And I look at every single task I have to do, every email, every podcast, every management of people, even firing people. I look at from the point of joy, not the part of pain, not the point of where I want to complain about it, right? So I am not big on complaining. Complaining and worrying and all of these negative thoughts are actually left over from our ancestors. That's why we're here, because they did worry there was a lion around the corner, right? Well, today, some of your listeners are going to say it's competition, this and that, and I understand that, but I don't want you to have those negative feelings and negative thoughts. And I'm a very positive person, and not in a trite way, but in a serious way. Like I see, okay, literally, I mean, for everybody listening here, we've all had to fire people. We terminate people, we lay off people. This is part of business, right? We hired the wrong person, or they were the right person for a certain period of time, and now it's a different time. And when it comes to letting them go, it's hard. Or should it be? Because isn't the outcome of that going to be better for you, better for the company, and better for them? And better for them. They are in a role that they're not succeeding at. Don't tell me, oh, they don't know that. They probably know it down deep inside, right? So you're doing them a favor. And everyone probably everyone I've ever fired in my lifetime, and maybe hundreds of people, maybe thousands, they all found a job later that was a better match for them and went on to have great, successful careers, right? They were no longer in a place where they could succeed. So even in the worst of things that we have to deal with, we can come at it from a point of joy, recognizing they're going to be in a better place. We're going to be in a better place. Everybody's in a better place, right? Or else we wouldn't do it. And when you start to look at all your tasks that way, it changes your brain in a way that opens that brain up to the possibility of solving real problems, to the possibility of really excelling your company in a new way, for a new direction or whatever. Opens the possibility for new invention and disruptive innovation, none of which happens when your brain is, oh, this hurts, and oh, that's hard. I don't want to talk to that customer. You know, as a C-level executive, the only customers you generally talk to are the unhappy ones. You don't talk to the happy ones, because your salespeople, you know, they're taking your AEs, they're taking credit for that, right? So you mostly talk to the unhappy ones, and hopefully there's not many, but think about it. The ones that end up on your desk, oh, so they're going to leave and they're going to do this and they hate it, you know, okay, and now you're the mediator, but still you're going to go in with joy. And you're going to go in with joy because you're going to fix their problem. You're going to double down on servicing them, or you're going to get rid of them, and it's up to you. But I mean, it's in your hands, right? It's in your hands. So attack everything from that point.
I truly appreciate that you put the topic of joy right into the context of things that many find difficult, right? You used the example of firing someone. There are plenty of other examples for that. How did you come to the point of putting this together? And of course, in the back of our mind, if we turn our brain to super analytic, we see it. But it's a different matter of feeling it, of really sensing it in the moment, of really being able to make that present in the moment. What got you to that point?
So look, people had to come to me and start asking me that question over my career. Why is it that you're doing that with a smile? Isn't that thing really hard? Whatever it is. I mean, our jobs are hard, or else we wouldn't need anyone in them. I'll get AI to do it, right? So they're hard, and it's called work for a reason. These are hard decisions to make, and they're hard interpersonal skills to master, and it's hard to listen that long to someone who's moaning out about stuff. That's what we do as leaders. There's a lot that we do as leaders, right? A lot of it you could look at as painful. But if you look at it instead as, what a great opportunity for me to learn, what a great opportunity for me to try something new, what a great opportunity for me to give someone a better career path, what a great opportunity for me to address this customer's needs and feel really good that I help move it in the right direction. All these things can be looked at two ways. One from the point of joy, every task, or one from the point of, oh, another complaint. And we as humans and as leaders mostly take the complaint route, even internal or external, sometimes external. And as a CEO, there's almost no one to complain to, but maybe your family, because there's nobody. What are you going to do? Who are you going to tell at work, right? So drop all that. And people started asking me, why is it that you're so joyful about all these tasks that you do? And somehow it led to a variety of success and 94 patents and all these things. How did that happen? I said, well, I had to start to write it down. What is it that I do every day, to make sure that I'm in that mood and that mode of operating so that I'm the best I can be for my company and for my employees? I started writing it down, and it ended up being 120 pages, and that's going to be the book. And what I found is the joy success cycle is about an infinite loop. More joy equals more success equals more joy equals more success. And when you realize you've tied those together, you want to act on that, right? So a lot of my keynote talks are on this. I have gotten calls, 2-3 weeks later from leaders there that said, you turned around our entire sales team. They were so upset with and so disgusted and so angry that there was a reorg or something. And you made them look at it a whole new way. I said, look, I know you're with a whole bunch of new people now. You can look at that two ways. One, I hate this. I want to go back to my old team. Why did they ruin it? Or you can accept the fact that change is normal in companies and look at that and say, I have a great opportunity to learn all new personalities, learn new things from these new people, go have a beer with them, a coffee, a tea, a lunch. I mean, this is great. I already learned everything I was going to learn over there. And now I can learn all new things and expand my mind. It's all how you look at it, and you are a better leader and a better follower and a better employee when you realize the joy success cycle is a cycle.
The way you talk about it also sounds like there's a lot of discipline attached to that. You started by saying the things that you do regularly, right? You wrote it down. Talk to me about the importance of self-discipline in that context, because joy,
I will.
It's more than just having fun, right? And
of course, but it's a mind game, right? All the things we do in life, are a little bit of a mind trick, right? So we say, can we go to Pilates and balance on that ball? And you look at it and say, no, it's impossible. Then you see other people doing it, and then you practice it for a while, and you're upside down in the pose and you can do it, right? For those who know what I'm talking about. So a lot of these things are mind tricks like that. We had a lot of people come. We spend much of the winter in Maui, and lots of friends come, and everybody wants to snorkel, and some are better than others. And snorkeling is kind of a mind trick. You have to realize you can actually breathe underwater. There is a tube, and it's okay, and you don't have to get flustered. And it takes a few practices to do that, and then you can enjoy these beautiful fish, right? So a lot of these are mind tricks. The joy success cycle is also a mind trick, and we use a lot of tricks to do this right. But one of them is the following. Tomorrow, all your listeners, when people get up, I want you to count the number of negatives or complaints, internal or external, that you have during the day. I can guarantee you it's about 100 or more. It's an amazing number. You get out of bed and the first thing you go, oh, boy, my legs hurt. Right? Complaint number one.
Right.
And so every time you complain, you're ticking off your positive quotient down towards 0. So maybe you started at 5 and it's a 0 to a 10. And after 5 complaints, you're at 0, and you got to dig yourself out of that hole. Well, why do you want to spend any energy doing that? Instead, get out of bed and go, I'm alive. This is fabulous, right? It's a given that at a certain age, we might have some aches and pains. It's a given that if we worked out yesterday, we may have some aches and pains. All good, because the alternative was death, right? So it's all how you look at it. So I have a rule, and Kevin's rule, and it's in the book, is you only get, you count your 100, and then eventually you're going to work to getting only one complaint a day. You get one a day, you still have one. You don't have 100.
Okay.
So that's a mind trick, right? It's a mind game. So what happens is you will get out of bed one morning and go, oh my God, we're out of coffee. I hate this. Are you sure you wanted to use up your one complaint for the day on that? Because you could have grabbed tea, you could have gone out for coffee, you could have gotten coffee at the office, whatever, all kinds of other choices to look at this as a new way to experience something different. But instead, You ran right to the complaint, and you probably told everyone, probably told your whole family about it. We're out of coffee. I can't believe it. This really sucks. Maybe 2, because you said it sucks. So you've used up your entire quota for the day. And when you start thinking about that, because we all like to, count, now you go the whole day. No, I can't do it. I've run out of my quota. I'm at my quota. So it's a mind game, and it really works. And literally within days, or sometimes weeks, you work yourself to that 1 a day. And that's when people write to me and say, thank you for that keynote speech.
I love it.
You changed my life.
I love it.
No, I didn't change their life. I just gave them 120, not even 120 page book yet. It was a keynote speech, not a book yet. But they changed their life. And when they realize that it's a lot of the book is you control how you feel about that moment. So I could have gotten on this podcast and go, oh, I have 6 podcasts this week that I happen to be on, right? Oh, another podcast. But I don't. I go, this is fabulous. I'm going to learn from my interviewer. I'm going to rethink some of my thoughts. I may articulate them in a whole new way, in a better way, and it'll be captured for posterity. I'll be long gone. Someone will play this like 18 years from now or 50 years from now or whatever it is. Well, I'm not gone in 18 years, but maybe I'm gone in 50 or 60, right? So I'm gone in 60 years, and someone might find this thing on whatever YouTube 7 is by then and look at it. So there's so much positive. That's the interesting thing. It's just all how you look at it.
It sounds awesome. How do you get people to buy into it? So obviously you're very passionate talking about it, but there's more required than talking about it, right? So how do you get your team to buy into that leadership philosophy? Or maybe your family as well, right? Teenagers are or family can be the most resistant to our own ideas.
Yeah, certainly that's true. Look, I think the thing is there has to be something in it for people. And look, there's plenty of books on happiness, but they're trite and they're foo-foo. Right. And there's some books on joy, and joy is a wonderful way to live, but they don't tell you how to do it. I mean, why would I? There's nothing in there. It's not prescriptive. One of the books I love, I did read it at the time, is don't sweat the little things, and they're all little things, right? This is a book from probably 20 years ago. What's funny about that book is I don't need to read the 250 pages the book is or so. I just needed the title on the cover. Don't sweat the little things. They're all little things. You go, yeah, got it, check. So what we try to do in the book is not pad the book like all these authors do, where they have one idea and they pad it because publishers want you to be at 270 pages or so. So I have a lot of ideas, and all of these ideas are actionable items by you. You could put them on a worksheet, you can do them, right? They're actionable items. So my keynotes, I have 2 sets of keynotes. I have AI keynotes because I'm an expert in AI and applied AI, which we can talk about in a few minutes. And I have my Joy Success keynotes. And the Joy Success ones, or the Joy Success cycle, I'm giving people a prescription to follow. Now, if you don't like it, don't do it. But there's a reason, because joy I've tied to success. And I show throughout the book that every little modicum of joy you bring to every little thing, including this podcast, will lead you to more success, whatever that means. It'll be by the way, it's a more successful podcast. You've clearly interviewed people that have a different attitude. They're having a tough day, whatever. And they go, well, yeah. And then you ask another question, you go, no. And you go, oh, geez, you know what I mean, right? You go, how am I ever going to interview this person? It's going to be the longest 30 minutes of my life. But if you come at everything from the point of joy, there's a lot to discuss, and there's a lot to be happy about. And so joy equals success in every moment of the day. It's not about joyful life. Every little moment, every little rung on the ladder. And if all of those tiny little joy moments you make throughout the day, by the end of the day, you've had a joyful day. And it wasn't foo-foo. It was real because you made it.
Yeah. Love it. So I asked you about ingredients for success, right? What made you successful in the past? I would love to know what you're working on today. So when you look at where you are in your leadership journey, what is an area where you think, I need to pay more attention, or I want to pay more attention to that? That's an area where I feel like there is room to grow.
So I've worked in the AI space for, I'm an engineer by trade, right? And both software and hardware. And I've worked in the AI space for some 30 years, and did get to work on the very first virtual assistants, the AI virtual assistants, or voice AI, we say now. and all those patents eventually got licensed to everybody from Apple to Amazon to build, their Alexas and their Series and things, and that continues on, and all that work continues on. But I'm working on AI that finds all the bugs in our software. That's been a long journey. It's a 12-year journey. It is certainly challenging and fun. The inventions are amazing. It scares people. You're talking about replacing some 3 million workers worldwide that do QA work today. And I'm sorry, our AI, this is one of the companies called AppFance. AppFance's AI, which is real, not AI washing, absolutely can find more bugs than humans can. Period, full stop, done, right? So that means, that job is not going to be around for long. And those 2.5 million people should start to think about doing something else. But finding bugs in software turns out to be a big deal, because for a major bank, healthcare operation, it could be 20% of their or more of their IT budget. So
it's huge, deal. Of course. Absolutely.
And it takes too long, and it's not very good.
And tell me about your leadership journey. So you're focused on leadership at the moment. Where is the spotlight on at the moment?
Well, in terms of leadership of what? In terms of how I lead?
Yep.
Who I lead? Why I lead? Look, I'll just say, first of all, I live the joy success cycle. So that changes the entire attitude of your employees. It's a culture that is very different. A lot of my companies, after we sold them or whatever, years later, I see people and they say, "Oh, Captain," they say, "Captain, you were the best leader I've ever had." I said, "I probably wasn't that good." "No, you're the best I've ever had." But so what makes people say that, even in the midst of sometimes tough times, sometimes layoffs, sometimes whatever? Transparency, honesty, integrity, sort of all of those things. We get our heads wrapped around leadership and being a C-level executive. And look, just be honest, certainly with the people around you. I realize you can't, tell every janitor everything that's going on. You're not going to go to your customer support team and tell them they're going to be replaced by AI quickly, so but you have to have honesty and transparency with your direct reports. You have to. They have to understand how the company's doing, what the financial situation is. Are you going to go raise more money? Are you taking it public? Are you, because my view is collectively they run the company. You don't run the company. They run the company. You happen to provide some inspiration, provide some experience. You certainly, when there's 8 different opinions, you're going to pick one of them and try to get to consensus around that, or you've run out of time, you just pick it and execute. And when I hire people, I tell people that we're going to try for consensus all the time. However, we're also going to run out of time. And when we run out of time, I have all 8 of you, because all 8 of you have different opinions. I think it's great. You have different experiences. But in the end, someday marketing is going to win, and another day sales is going to win, another day manufacturing is going to win, another day, the software is going to win, whatever, right? And it's not a win. It's that we have to pick one and go forward. And if we're wrong, we'll come back and regroup and change it. But collectively, we run the company. And collectively, we, leave our exec staff meetings and we're all on the same page. And if you don't want to be on the same page, that's fine. It was your final day. It's fine. Like, I don't want to be on this page. Yeah. Everyone else is falling in line. I'm going to fall on my sword. Sorry. But I never have people do that because they knew when they were hired. Now, I've had people that I tell that to when they're hired and they go, "I don't know if this is for me. I always need to be here." You're always going to be heard, but it's not actually a democracy. It's not actually, they're paying the board, the stock shareholders pay a CEO to finally make decisions. They're not always right. They don't always go along with everybody, but you have to make a decision. That's why you're paid more than everyone around you, except the VP of sales or CRO. They make more. So I think that, if you're honest with people about your management style and you're honest with them about where everything is, and you look at that exec team as it's the exec team that runs the company, you're just sort of part of it, but sometimes you have to make a decision. People will never go, "Oh, you didn't tell me you were that kind of manager," or "You didn't tell me." I told you exactly who I am, and there's no surprise. So again, honesty, integrity, transparency, right up front in the interview process. You just hire the best people. Yep. They get it. Everybody, all my exec teams have become friends always.
Yeah, and probably a joyous group.
A
Let me ask you.
group. Yes, very much so.
Ask you one more question, then we're going to land the plane, Kevin. What is something that you think many tech leaders are missing? So when you look at all the folks out there, what is something that you've come to realize, and at the same time you notice many people are just not seeing
Many
that?
people, yeah. So look, especially when you don't have as much experience in a C-level position. And by the way, I recommend everyone go work for mid-sized to large company once or twice before starting your own company. I really recommend that. You learn so much about how systems work and how things don't work and how you don't want to do them, right? But you need to learn that. You need to learn interpersonal skills. And people think they come out of college with great interpersonal skills. No, you didn't, because they didn't teach you that. They didn't teach you the EQ that you need to rise up. They didn't teach you the listening skills that you really need. They probably, didn't teach you certain kinds of complex thinking skills. So, for instance, one of the things I see in Silicon Valley a lot is amazing companies that come up with amazing technologies, amazing solutions for which there is no problem.
Yep. It is so tempting,
like,
especially for technologists. So tempting.
Me too. Oh my God, I want to go solve that. That's amazing. But there's no one out there who will pay for it, right? If there's no one who will pay for it, you don't have a company. And I know we all do this because those of us who came from a technical background, we're thrilled with these, incredibly high technology leaps, right?
Yep.
But the truth is, you got to make something that someone is willing to pay for. So you have to make a product that solves a problem for people with money, businesses or people with money. Don't go solve problems for people with no money. And this is with all due respect to people with no money, but they can't pay you. They can't buy anything from you, right? I've made this thing that sits on the counter and it produces this kind of food and it's meant for the poor. I hope you find a nonprofit to buy them because so you have to find a wanting audience that has money in their pocket, business or personal. And again, I'm not trying to be rude about it. And just that's how business is done, right? Otherwise, there's room for nonprofits, and you should work at one if you want to go solve the world's problems, or a government, or whatever. So look, I think that's important. EQ is more important than IQ, is the truth. You can hire IQ all around you. It's hard to have the right EQ and empathy. Certainly, especially as a male, it's hard to have all the empathy I would like to have. My wife is amazing at empathy. That's one of her, superpowers, right? And so I have to work at that superpower, where she can sense that person is having a bad day from a long way away. Someone better come and tell me, right? I won't sense that. I'm trying really hard. Those sensors aren't as strong for me, so I have to double and triple that effort. And then when I find out, I have to really be there for them, right?
Yep.
I mean, these are the things we do. They're having a problem at home. Go home. Go deal with your husband. Go deal with your wife. Go deal with whatever's going on, right?
Whatever it is.
So, empathy, transparency, critical thinking skills. Boy, I see critical thinking skills lacking a lot today. Partly because colleges aren't teaching them. Partly because we got a whole generation that grew up playing games. And, being very, very good at these tasks and shooting the enemy and stuff. But critical thinking means, wow, I've got to thread this needle between marketing and sales, and maybe it's manufacturing, maybe it's software, and maybe it's the price, and maybe it's, that takes a lot of critical thinking skills. So there's my answer.
Awesome. Kevin, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast here. The idea of the joy and the energy that you brought around joy, that'll stay with me for a long, long time.
Well, buy the book when it comes out. My website is, you'll link it, kevinsurace.com, and there'll be more information on there.
And I'll definitely buy the book. I look forward to it already.
Thanks for having me.
To everyone out there, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure to like and subscribe and come and visit us again for the next video. And until then, keep your brain cells active.